Hi everybody, it's Christina Quick, the Tarot Biz Mentor here from the Profitable Psychic Divination and Business Academy, where I teach tarot readers how to shift into becoming spiritual life coaches. Welcome to another video. This has been a highly requested video. It's actually something that I like to talk about a lot. The idea of haters, hecklers, and trolls, right? We all have them. We're all worried about attracting them. You know, for the longest time in my own business, I walked on eggshells. I walked on eggshells about, what was appropriate to say or what opinions were I was able to share that weren't going to attract a lot of negative attention. I've also had insecurities about my weight, about different, we all have different things that we're really insecure about that we think that's going to attract haters, right? And honestly, for the longest time in my business, one of the worst things that I could possibly do was upset someone. I hated upsetting anybody. That's just the empath in me, the unhealed empath at that point in time, anyways, that was, really concerned about external feedback simply because what it is the empath doesn't want anybody else to feel pain because they absorb that pain. And so they're limiting their own pain by dimming their light, dimming themselves. Okay, so that's where the dysfunction is. But I also really had this phobia, this fear of upsetting someone or having someone disagree with me. I'm not really big on confrontation. I don't like confrontation. I'm a Libra. It's much better if we can all just get along and it can all just be a happy time where everybody's in agreement and in harmony with everything, right? That's just like my sun sign and kind of what I try to do and how I try to live my life. So the idea of confrontation was really terrifying to me. And I really struggled for a really long time because the worst thing in the world, in my opinion, was going to be anybody disagreeing with me. I couldn't handle that. I didn't have the emotional maturity to handle that. These are skills that you have to kind of learn, right? There are some other things that helped me, and that's what I'm going to be sharing with you today. Some strategies, also some mindset shifts and things like that. And I'm sure that you probably deal with this too. I mean, this is not something that is exclusive to just one person. The idea of putting yourself out there and especially putting yourself out online is really terrifying. I've been online for 20 years and I've been, online in a public sense for over 10. So I kind of faced those fears early on. But even though I have years and years of experience with being in the public eye, especially on in a virtual format, I still have, my own insecurities and I still have my own apprehension. And it's still, my stomach still drops into the pit of my solar plexus and my sacral chakra when I have hate mail or I get a rude comment or something like that. I don't think that feeling ever really goes away. I think it's always going to hurt just a little bit just because that's the intention behind it. People want to hurt you, right? And that's the intention behind haters, hecklers, and trolls. But this idea of receiving that dreaded hate mail has really prevented me from being as visible as I could have been for a really long time. And the clients that I work with, they're tarot readers, psychic readers, and spiritual advisors, spiritual life coaches. Like that's kind of like the people that I work with. I know that for a lot of people, they're still struggling with that. And I know a lot of people haven't even tried to show up yet because of that fear and because of that phobia. I actually have a video on it. I will link it up above and also in the comment section below, or the description in the comments, the description box below. It talks about the three fears, the three ways your fears of success are sabotaging your business, your spiritual business. And one of those ways is through the fear of attention, right? So I kind of talk about it a little bit more in that video. And in my Market Yourself as a Spiritual Life Coach course, I actually dedicate the first module to that. So we start talking about our fears and bringing those to the surface and working on challenging those fears and things like that. That's the very first thing that we do in that course is we help you get rid of the gunk and clear out the darkness and stuff that's like preventing you from really showing up and being in your light and showing up as a light leader. And actually this fear of like rocking the boat or just this general fear of like being ridiculed or disagreed with or even just being a target online for trolls. This is something really common that a lot of light workers face because we're very, very sensitive people. We're very, very highly sensitive people, right? So I know that this is something that's keeping a lot of people stuck for an unreasonable amount of time. I know this is a big reason why people aren't being visible, why they aren't booking clients, and why they aren't making money. So hopefully, in this video, I can share some tips and tricks and mindset things for you guys to kind of help you overcome that and how to deal with it as it comes in. And I remember going through this too, and what it really boils down to is here's the tough love here is that, we have to value living our own lives and being happy in our own lives and showing up in the world and sharing our opinions and saying, hey, you know what? I deserve to take up space and I'm going to take up space here, whether you like it or not. You don't have to participate, but I am worth and I deserve to take up space, to be a part of this earth, of this planet, our community. I deserve to be here. And first and foremost, if you aren't doing that, then you don't think that you deserve to be here, right? That's the limiting belief that you have. And we have to value that more than we value the external feedback, right? And the reality is this: you will never, ever, to your last breath, you will never make everybody happy. There is no such thing as being well loved by everybody. There's people out there that hate Mother Teresa. Why? I don't know. Just because people are weird, and people always find ways to ruin things, that are good. All I can really say is that trying to make everybody happy is something really foolish, and that's something that's not achievable. Something that's never going to simply happen, no matter how good of a person you are, how spiritually pure you are, or how moral you are, or how ethical you are, or just in general, just you as you are. There's always going to be someone out there that doesn't like you. And that's just something you're going to have to live with. And that's something that you're going to have to face, and you're going to have to accept, and you're going to have to somehow move on from that. So today's video is going to be talking about some ways, 3 ways in particular, 3 different ways that you can look at it, think about it, different strategies that you can utilize to actually profit from your haters, hecklers, and trolls. So if you're profiting from them, then that's going to ease a lot of the reluctance and the hesitation you have, right? If there's money in it for you, which there is, then that may help you shift your kind of mindset about dealing with these things, or the hardship that we face when we deal with criticism and judgment from others, right? So the first type of hater that we're going to talk about today is the person who's telling other people what they can and can't do, or what they can and can't say. They're the type of person that feels really entitled to have like a monopoly over what is right or what is wrong, or what is or what isn't. Everybody has their opinion about that sort of thing. So if someone is writing you and telling you that you can't do or say something, like, for example, one that comes up for tarot readers all the time, I'm just coming up off the top of my head, is you can't do third-party readings, or third-party readings are unethical, right? So whatever you feel about that is whatever you feel about that. But if I were to sit here and tell people that I think it's okay to do third-party readings, and I give like a little overview of how to do that, of course I'm going to get someone that's going to comment and say, you can't do third-party readings, that's unethical, you're immoral, blah, 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 you're a bad person. Now, that's just one way that you can go. That's just like one thing that could come up. I mean, there's a multitude of things that could come up. But what I recommend, if someone tells you that you can't do or say something, then the way that you profit from that person, that hater, is to utilize your platform to tell people why you actually can do that thing, right? And so what this is called polarization. Also, again, I dedicate a whole module to this in my Market Yourself as a Spiritual Life Coach course. There's a whole module on polarization. There's actually like 2 modules that's about content creation, how to find content ideas, how to find video ideas, blog post ideas, etc. that will actually convert into clients, right? And then the second half of that is using polarization. Polarization is a type of content creation that you can put together that firmly draws a line in the sand and says, yes, you can, or you can't do this one thing, and here's why. So what I recommend is that you, instead of addressing that one person, we're going to talk about this here in just a second, but instead of addressing that one person, use your platform to address the whole ideology or the whole philosophy or theory on why that thing is untrue. And, put together like bullet points of like things that, like stick to the facts. The worst thing you can do is turn it into something personal and take it to heart and use your emotions to reply. You want to stick to the facts of the matter. You want to stick to your personal experience. So this is a great gateway into creating some really hard hitting content that's going to get a lot of traffic. Honestly, some of my best content has come from my most viewed, most watched, most absorbed content has actually come from comments that I get about like, you can't do this or you shouldn't do that, blah, blah, blah. And actually a lot of my best polarization content has come from that, and I've grown my list exponentially from that. And it's just a different way to handle it, right? So it's a different way to think about how you're going to actually profit from that. And the first way is to utilize your platform and say, actually you can, and here's why, right? Number two, you have to realize the next two things are going to be kind of more like mindset things, right? So the second thing is you have to kind of realize that your haters make you money by watching your content, by sharing your content, even if their intention is to defame or to ridicule you or to rally against you. There's kind of like this idea that there is no such thing as bad press. There is, like, if you do something illegal, that's obviously gonna tarnish your reputation, or you do something like, um, you know, anyways, I won't go too much into that because that's a whole other video that I could put together and talk about for a long time. What I'm trying to say is that a little bit of scandal is actually a good thing. Scandal will really help drive traffic to you. It'll get people talking about you. So scandal, you don't want to shy away from scandals. A little bit of scandal is okay. But it can help you, scandal can help you grow your audience exponentially and get a lot of eyes on you that wouldn't already be on you. So, like, for example, if someone posts your blog post or your video in a group and they're like hating on it and they're like saying how this is wrong or not good or blah, blah, blah. And, of course, there's going to be people that are like going to comment and say, yeah, like, that's not good, and who does this person think that they are, and things like that. But then you're also going to get a wider audience of people that wouldn't normally find you through their like organic searching. They are going to pay attention to those conversations, and they're going to want to know what all of the buzz is about. They're going to know why people are saying what they're saying, what's so bad about you, what's so bad about your video, your content, stuff like that. And they're going to go watch your content. And I promise you 7 times out of 10, they're going to be like, actually, this is really good content. I don't know why these people are being jerks about it. And they're going to start following you, right? So when haters share your content, especially with the intention to defame or to ridicule you or to make fun of you or to talk bad about you, what you don't realize, yeah, that sucks. Okay, it sucks. It doesn't feel good to see that, especially if you're in one of those groups and you just happen to see that. That's happened to me before, especially for my psychic hotline content. People love to rip that to shreds, which is why it's so popular. That there you go. Sucks to see that. But on the other side of that is that it's free advertisement. They're basically just putting your content in front of a whole bunch of people and saying, what do you think about this? And you're going to find that a lot of people will start following you. You'll get an influx of followers or subscribers or something like that, whatever social media you're on. And it's because even though your haters' intention was to, make fun of you or ridicule you, actually they're doing you a favor by sharing your content to people who would otherwise not be able to find your content. So it's actually like jokes on them. Number 3. So the third way to profit from haters is something that I want you to think long and hard about. And this is how you react to them and how your audience sees you react and deal with this. So there will always be an audience watching, especially if you are sharing publicly your content like on YouTube or social media. Your audience is going to be watching. They're going to be, watching what other people say. And most importantly, they're going to be watching how you interact with that person and how you handle that scenario. Your energy speaks louder than your words. So how you react to that and the energy that you put into that and the intention you put into that reply is going to make it or break you for a lot of people who are thinking about buying from you or thinking about investing in you. I used to reply back to people and just rip into them. I used to do that. And then I realized that actually that did nothing but make me look bad. And two, it just gave them, the haters, what they wanted. So again, kind of going back to that, don't address the actual hater. Just put out a video or a piece of content on your platform that justifies, why you say or why you do what you do. I can't tell you how many times I've actually converted members to becoming paying clients, especially in my groups or on YouTube, simply because they liked how I handled the hate comments. The best way to handle these, in my opinion, is number one, to not take anything personally. That's always going to be the hardest because it's going to activate your solar plexus and your sacral, and it's going to turn you into warrior mode, right? It's going to shift warrior, fight or flight or flee. And most of us are going to go right to fight, right? Because we're virtual, they can't really do anything physical to you. So people will say just about the worst things possible because they know they're behind a screen. They know that they're not in any real immediate danger, right? So it will go to places that it wouldn't normally go if you were talking to someone face to face. So first of all, don't take it personal. Second, don't give them the attention that they're seeking. Haters are people who crave your attention, and they're people that have been neglected in their life. And so they think that they can get that attention from you if they post something negative or challenging to you, or like a criticism or a judgment. And what they secretly want from you deep down in their cold little hearts is they want your attention. They crave your attention. So that because when you reply to people individually, you give them that narcissistic supply. Really, haters are psychic vampires. Okay, that should be a term that most of us spiritual people are accustomed to, that have an understanding of what psychic vampirism is. Haters are literally psychic vampires. So when you reply to them and you engage with them, you're basically giving them that narcissistic feed. You're giving that psychic vampire supply. So the best thing you can do is understand that hurt people, right? And they're neglected, and they're, by actually engaging in the conflict, you're giving them exactly what they want. You're giving them that energy, that fuel that they need. So the best thing you can do, number 3, is to cut the cord and shut it down. This is blocking people. This is muting people. This is, if someone, especially if they're like someone that hasn't commented before and they don't have with positive things to say or something like that, and all of a sudden they just come out of left field and their first interaction with you is negative, I just block those people and I move on. I mean, there really is no point in engaging with them, because I'm just going to be giving them my precious energy that I would otherwise charge people money for. I say this all the time. You guys have probably heard me say this in psychic hotline school. I charge a minimum of $400 to debate with me. It's a minimum of $400 to debate with me, and you have to kind of think about your energy and the value of your energy, and the energy that you're spending debating and bickering back and forth with people. That's energy that you could have charged premium top dollar for and made money, right? So don't engage, cut it off. And here's the thing: like a lot of haters misunderstand the idea of free speech, right? Like, they think that they have free speech so they can just rip into you and tell you how they think about you and all of the judgments and criticisms. And sure, yeah, that's their right. But their free speech stops the moment that they enter my private space. And whether or not my private space, as I open that to the public, whether I'm on YouTube or on social media or something like that, it's still my private space. So if I don't want to listen to your crap, then I don't have to. I'm not obligated to do that. And not even if you paid me, am I obligated to do that, okay? So people think that they own your space. They think that you own your time. They think that they own your time. And so one of the mindset shifts is you have to understand that you own your space. You own your time. You decide what is acceptable and what is not acceptable. And you don't have to you don't have to try to engage with people. You don't have to try to convert them. That's something that I actually see a lot. Is I see a lot of people that try to convert their haters and spend time, explaining to their haters and trying to convert them into being watchers. I'm a firm believer that if people show you their colors, believe them on that first instance. And I think that there is no honor in trying to convert haters. I think that that's really deep down. That's that savior complex again coming in through the empath. And I think that if you do that, and I think that is if you're like, if that's your first inclination, I'm going to try to convert this person into being, an audience member, a positive contribution to this community rather than a negative one. If that's really what you want to do, fine. But honestly, I think it's just a waste of time. I've gotten hate mail for so long now, like so long, you guys, 15 plus years. Because before I did this, I also did, before I was, online in the spiritual industry, I was also online in the online gaming industry. So I don't talk about that a lot, but I was. And the trolls are even worse over there. And streaming games and stuff like that is what I used to do. And part time, just kind of for fun, not really for money, just kind of for fun and dealing with haters. And with one thing I've learned is that, you may like you may get a stalemate with haters. You may actually arrive to some sort of like not closure, but like you might get them to sway their opinion just a little bit. But I guarantee that they have things going on in their lives that prevent them from fully absorbing the information that you're trying to give them, or they're just simply not ready for that information. And so it's a futile effort. You might get them to play nice for a little while, but they're just going to go back to their crotchety self, if that makes sense. So yeah, haters. Haters are honestly some of my favorite people anymore because, like I said, I get some of my best content ideas from my haters, and you can do this too. And you can do this, and it will shift the game for you. It puts you back in the authority role. It puts you back in the power role where you have control over it, right? So I'm curious, how do you deal with haters? Is that something that you deal with right now? Is it like something that you're scared of? Let me know in the comments below how you deal with haters, what your thoughts about haters are, how they fit into the grand scheme of things. If you think of any other ways to profit off of haters that I haven't mentioned today, feel free to comment that below. And if you like this video and you got something out of it, you got value out of it, please do me a favor and thumbs up this video, subscribe to this channel, and also turn on notifications, because when you do, you will get exclusive access to know when I upload any new videos. So I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.